Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of my Joke Tales, where you join me on my incredibly boring or interesting journey, depending on who you are, for me to clean out my house and maybe entertain while doing it. Now today, I will be dealing with this large box. Not even sure if you guys can see that. Here we go. Big old tub. Now what you might not know is that I used to be somewhat of a amateur costumer back in my younger years, being maybe a few years ago. But now that I'm a parent, it's a lot harder to keep up with that kind of lifestyle, so a lot of this stuff, not so relevant anymore. So I'll take this a bit out of frame and we'll go through here one by one. First step on the chopping block, what is this? Let's see. Looks like some kind of robe, maybe. Looks like the inner jacket to, I believe this was for a dark Jedi costume at one point. So I think there might be some additional pieces along with it. Pretty simple, just kind of a shirt. A loose-fitting shirt. Pretty poor quality fabric. You can find a lot of these kinds of things on eBay or other, or probably Amazon as well. Really cheap fabric. Probably like a cotton polyester blend. It gets really hot. Looks kind of like garbage unless you wear it just for the first time. And here's a belt or some kind of sash that it came with. Sash isn't actually that bad. It's way too wide for me, if I recall correctly. I think I only wore this a few times. I think this actually came with a bigger robe. And that robe I'll probably keep as part of a more functional costume that I put together that I've got somewhere else in my house. But since this has been hanging out in this bin for probably 3 years since I've touched it, I think I'm going to go ahead and put this in the junk pile, which is going to be right over here for now. Probably see if I can sell it to someone else, or probably just end up donating it to maybe a Goodwill or something like that. All right, junking that for now. All right, here we have some pants, which I think went with that exact same suit. It's just plain black polyester pants. Definitely going to trash this, or sell it, not trash it. Yeah, this looks like it's 100% polyester. If I recall correctly, it was about as painful to wear as it might sound. Just horrible, sweaty, and very shiny looking. Here we go. Right, so next up, sort of in the same vein, you can probably tell I was a bit of a Star Wars fan. This is part of a Imperial officer's uniform. This I might actually be able to sell for a decent amount. It was somewhat comfortable, although again it is made of this polyester, almost pure polyester probably, at least on the inside. So another case of Sweat City. I think so in the officers in Star Wars, Imperial officers, they had these, this isn't accurate right here, but they had these, like, I believe they called them like identifier pins or something like that. It was just some simple little doodad to make it look more official, but I literally just used I think it's a laser pen. Fortunately, there's no battery in it right now, but I think I could find a battery for this, so I'll probably be keeping this pen. But this shirt and actually these pants along with it, these pants actually are sort of like riding crops, if I recall correctly. Have that kind of like really wide bow leg look to them. I think it's somewhat more intimidating if you consider it as the kind of that late equestrian look that officers in the British forces used to have, but honestly on me it just looked quite silly. So I don't think I'll ever be wearing this particular outfit again. If I ever wanted to dress up as an Imperial officer and maybe rent a suit, or I don't even know, get something that wasn't polyester, something that I could afford that would be nicer these days. So probably going to try and find a new home for these guys. Don't need it sitting around in my garage for years on end anymore. So definitely going in the junk pile. Although this one actually did have pretty comfortable shoulders. The padding on the inside was pretty nice, and it's a double layered fabric. So there's different fabric on the inside, it's shiny material, which compared to the outer material. It's pretty comfortable for about 5 minutes until you can't have your skin breathe. So that's that Imperial officer's uniform. So I'm gonna try and find a new home for that. All right, let's see what we have here next. Looks like some old military gear. All right, so here is a pocket with camo on it. It's actually not that bad. I might keep this pocket. Put that in the trunk pile. And here, we have, I believe this is a parachute pack from a military surplus. Yep, here we go. See if I can get you to see this. Parachute assembly, type LLP Mark 1. God knows I have no idea what that means, but I originally got this as part of a Metal Gear Solid, one of the Snake incarnations. It's been a while since I put this costume together, and on that note, I have this camo outfit that was, I believe, was actually a paintball uniform that is ripped up the butt. Let's see if I can pull this out. So this was a really cheap solution rather than getting a full camouflage jumper. So just get this cheap, it's hard to see, but it's basically made of paper. So probably pretty useful for paintballers. Got to use this a couple times and it actually held up fairly well, except for the, as you can see, the tear in the crotch here. Even still, I'm hesitant to just throw it away outright. Maybe someone can sew it up and reuse it. But I don't see myself using this parachute pack. I didn't even end up using the parachute pack for part of the costume. So into the junk pile it goes. It seemed like it might be interesting to kind of cut off maybe some of these straps and reuse them for something else, but I'm just not into the costuming lifestyle anymore. Just too much money and not enough time to do it now that got a more full-time career and family to take care of. So into the junk it goes. All right. Let's pull out some more. Let's see here. Let's set this aside a little bit. So it looks like, so we have here, this is, I think this might go around the leg. And it's basically an ammo pouch. And then this goes around the torso. It's basically like phony assault gear. Yes, this goes around the torso just a bit. You can see shoulder straps, kind of connects around the mid-body here. And then you have one leg, and then a belt. This belt is what the other piece is attached to. This is nice enough and probably generic enough that maybe it could be used in a costume one day. I don't feel too bad about holding on to it. It's pretty decent quality. And heck, maybe I even know someone that would want to use these kinds of things, kind of like phony assault gear for either paintballing or maybe going to a range or something. So we'll go ahead and keep these and move on to the next item. All right. It's just a belt that goes with that. All right, we have some gloves here. Apparently I bought these from Goodwill or something. These gloves actually don't look, these gloves right here don't look half bad. They have an interesting little arrow sign on them. They look actually pretty warm. So I think I might hold on to these. These might look just comfortable for use around the house or when it gets cold out. So I'll hold on to these. What is this? This is, I believe this is an arm sleeve. Let's see if I can put it on. I think this goes, so imagine that I'm not putting this over another sleeve, but this has a little hole. I think it's just nylon basically. I mean, it's interesting. It doesn't take up a lot of space. I'll probably hold on to this. Then we have here's a Metal Gear Solid eye patch. I believe I wore this and, it looks like it's starting to kind of fall apart a little bit already. I tried to wear this and it just wouldn't really fit on the eye quite properly. And it was a little bit too big for me even. Like someone probably designed this before really trying to wear it, or without looking much at the reference that it came from. Just didn't really fit right with the outfit. So I think I'll probably junk this. See if someone will want to buy that later on. And then here we have a buff. Okay, so I believe this is basically just something you could wear around the neck. Just kind of loose fitting. You can pull it up over your nose and mouth like a bandana. So I might hold on to this, but just very tenuously, just because of the pandemic situation. Maybe it'll have some use, or even use as a dish towel or something, worst case scenario. So I'll hold on to that, trunk it. Let's pull out a few more items here. Here we have a beret from that same kind of, that Foxhound logo that goes with the kind of Metal Gear Solid character. It was way too big for me, way too loose that is, so going to see if I can get that to a new home somewhere. A lot of the contents of this case are kind of the military gear that went around with that first outfit. So here was right here is just a crappy bandana that's basically garbage now. I'll just throw this out. And then we have a somewhat complicated harness for that Solid Snake character. I think I ended up actually using this for one of the times I wore that costume, but this canteen looks like it might be a little bit useful, but everything else, don't imagine I'll be using any of this anytime soon. So I'll probably go ahead and try and find a new home for this in the junk pile. All right. Next we have a pair of boots. Now these are costuming boots, and they're this kind of cheap plastic. I don't imagine there'll be many people wanting boots of this quality per se. I'll probably need quite a bit of work to buff them out after being locked in storage for so long, gotten so many wrinkles, but you know, try and find a new home for these. maybe donate them if no one wants them, but I doubt that I'll be wearing anything like this anytime soon. Got a normal pair of boots somewhere out here in the garage for just rainy days, but don't think I'll ever need anything with this much leg on it. Junk it. Starting to run out of room in my junk pile. Got a little toy knife here. Might see if my wife wants something like this. She still considers doing costuming every now and then. I don't think it'll be really that useful, but it might be an interesting toy or cheap Halloween costume item for one like my kids in the future. We'll see about that. Keep it for now. All right, just gonna wrap up this bin. We'll just sort through whatever we can find in here. So we have, actually these are very nice gloves. I'll definitely be holding on to these. They're very soft leather. They don't look like much now, but I put them on. They're pretty tight fit to get on, but once they're on, that's very comfortable. A little squeaky. Maybe we could use that for a sound effect or something. Yeah, these are, it's almost like wearing skin. I mean, I know leather is skin in any case, but yeah. These might actually be inside out. In any case, these are nice and comfortable. I've actually been looking for some of these gloves a while back and couldn't for the life of me figure out where they were. Now I guess I know, they were all in this trunk. So I'll be trunking that, keeping them. Wow, these are very small, old binoculars, just toy binoculars that went with one of those kind of faux military video game character costumes. Definitely don't need this anymore, junking it. All right, what else do we have here? We have, oh, this is a sash that went with the Dark Jedi costume. It's basically useless at this point. I don't think anyone will even want this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and junk this. Oh, wrong side for junking. All right, what do we have here? This is, I don't even know what this is. This looks like just, I have no idea. Well, I'm just gonna throw this away. This looks like just ripped up cloth. I think I might have used this to create the bandana for the Solid Snake character. Here we have some gloves with the fingertips cut off. Probably another item that was part of the Solid Snake character. Looks sort of interesting, maybe. Maybe I could use these for gloves if I wanted to still use a phone or something. I'll go ahead and, I think I'll go ahead and keep these. Could always use more gloves. There's more just ripped up fabric, it looks like. Yep. Trash. Oh wait, hold on. This is one of the other sleeves with the thumb hole. So I'll go ahead and keep a hold of this. I'll trunk that. These will be tossed. And then another eye patch. Just put that in the donate bin. And then a strap for something. And last we have a plain belt buckle that was part of the Imperial officer outfit. Put that in the junk pile. See if someone wants that along with the rest of the Imperial officer outfit. All right, that concludes that first bin. I'm gonna go ahead and look at one more bin, see what kind of stuff's in there, and decide whether or not to stop here. Okay, So I think that will do it for today. We'll move on to the second portion, 2 of 2, for the costuming supplies mystery boxes, if you will. Take a little trip through memory lane and see probably the rest of most of the other costumes that I didn't decide to keep in a more collected state, and probably put a lot of more things in the junk pile. I got a pretty sizable amount. Pretty decent amount that I'll be keeping. Mostly gloves and the kind of SWAT gear. This might be useful for one of the kids one day. In any case, the rest is over in the junk pile. And if you saw anything that you might want, maybe I can ship it out to one of you if you leave a comment. Otherwise, let me know if there's anything in particular you might want me to go through next. In any case, this has been another episode of My Junk Tales, and I'll see you all next time.